Well, welcome to PJNET Television. We are fortunate to have many good patriots on Twitter, and these patriots, each one of them has a story, and I'm fortunate to be joined right now by @ZingMel. And Zing, good to have you on board with PJNET Television, and you've been working hard as a patriot, but also working hard as a mom.
Yes, I have. I have 3 little ones, and we have been doing a ton of work with getting into Iowa caucus coming up on Monday, and then with school and the storm moving in pretty soon.
Okay, now how old are these your children, and what gender?
I have a 10-year-old girl, an 8-year-old girl, and a 6-year-old boy.
Well, you know, at that age, we send them. Now, do you homeschool them or send them to school?
They go to public school.
They go to government school. Okay,
Yes,
so the assumption is that they are already being indoctrinated and programmed. So how do you counter program that? How do you know it's working?
Well, I have opted out of all the standardized testing and all that other stuff, and they during Sunday through Thursday, there's no TV time.
Mm-hmm.
And they have no computer privileges at school or at home except for the weekend. And they're only allowed an hour and a half computer totally for the weekend. So I keep that down, and then we spend a lot of time just reading books, playing board games. We do a lot of things at church. We spend 2 days at church a week. So we just keep them as grounded as we can from home, and just talk about it every night at dinner. We find out what's going on, what they're doing, what's being said, that kind of information, and they're really open and they tell us. So if they have any problems or anything like that, I go right up to school and take care of it.
So, clearly you're trying to manage their exposure to electronic media. Is your concern the mass media, social media, or both?
All of it.
All of it. Okay.
All of it.
All right. Well, let me ask you a question then. If the goal is to restrict their time on social media, let me ask it this way. You're clearly on social media. Do you see Twitter as the pulse of public opinion? Do you see it as a viable outlet for conservative activism?
It's Twitter, all the social media outlets. It's a tool to get the message out. But at this age, they need to communicate within their own peer level. They don't need to be communicating with people that are 20, 30 years older than them.
Right. So you don't see it as a matter of trying to simply prohibit or restrict or constrain them. It's kind of like, hey, we want our children to drive cars, but not at age 9.
Exactly.
Okay, so you're not trying to say let's turn the clock back, let's not use social media, but rather you're trying to say that one, that needs to be in a closely supervised environment when they're that young, and there's a point at which they gain the maturity. Do you hope that your children grow up to be active Twitter activists? That's a redundant statement, but do you see them maturing into that?
Oh, I can see them using Twitter all the time. When it comes to that age that they can manage and they know what they're putting out there is always going to be put out there. I think the age that my children are, they don't understand once you put something out there, it's out there.
Mm-hmm. And as we were growing up, we really didn't have that problem. You had to worry about things that were observed publicly, and that's still true today. It's even more true today because there's cameras everywhere, it seems. But social media, a lot of children don't realize when they post something that may seem popular with their peers, comes back to haunt them in a big way later on when they're like, applying for a job, something like that.
Well, exactly. That's exactly what it is. And I mean, what they do now, even up through high school, I mean, colleges are looking into any social media accounts. Mm-hmm. What are they putting up? What are they talking about? How are they conducting themselves? Are they being professional? Mm-hmm. I mean, so it's a catch-22 there. You don't want to totally take everything away, but then on the other hand, you're trying to protect them too, because you want to make sure they're making the right choices. So either way, as a parent nowadays with social media and computers and electronics, you're in a catch-22.
Well, I think it's becoming apparent that we need to be a good parent, and I appreciate your dedication, to your children. And speaking of dedication, Zing Mel, you've been to many of the PJNET rallies, and we greatly appreciate your support and your participation. And how did you find out about PJNET?
I found out through a Common Core page that they started a campaign through you guys, and that's how I found out about you.
Well, thank you. What I call the Common Core moms, actually they're anti-Common Core, but
exactly.
I guess when Sarah Palin said the grizzly bear moms, I think that's the picture of the grizzly bear mom. Don't mess with, don't underestimate.
The power of us moms,
yes. Because once they get on it, they may be few in number, but boy, they are relentless. They're like a piece of bubble gum stuck to your, shoe on a hot August day on an asphalt parking lot. It just won't go away.
You got it. We're just there to help all of, when we're doing that, we're out there not just for our kids, but for all the kids. I mean, it's all about the children and, and what's going to happen to our country if they're not guided right. That's just how it is.
Well, folks, you are listening to @ZingMel on Twitter, ZINGMEL, @ZingMel. Follow her and keep up with her tweets, and we're just glad to have you as part of the PJNet team.